In today's video, I'm gonna demonstrate how to handle green shapes in watercolor, how to paint the negative shapes to create light and shadow effects, and how to simplify and connect different shapes to paint a beautiful lush landscape in watercolor. Hey everyone, I'm Amit. I'm glad you're watching this video. Let's start with the painting. To approach this watercolor, I would start with the background areas. The sky part I would paint first, then I'll come to the middle ground and then I'll paint the foreground area, those areas under the shadows and all those dark greens. So here I would try to keep the shapes pretty much simple as possible, and I would be concentrating more on the big shapes here. Once I am happy with the big shapes, then I would go for small details. Gradually I would be developing all those depths so that I am not ruining this complete watercolor. The painting process would be pretty much same as the traditional watercolor painting. So that means I typically follow by painting the light first, then gradually I'll go to the dark areas or creating the shadows, and at the end I would be painting the darkest tone in my painting. So as you can see, I am pretty much doing that similar approach that I mentioned. I'm trying to create one variegated wash of different greens that I would possibly create in my palette. So typically I use the lemon yellow, the yellow ochre, or probably the chrome yellow I have in my palette, and I mix them with different blue shades that are available, like the cobalt blue, ultramarine blue, or the other blue shades that I have. So there are no fixed colors I specifically remember. So basically you have to go look at the subject, what all shades it can possibly has, try to match similar to that, and keep developing your own colors until you are satisfied. And everywhere you are noticing, I am trying to maintain that variegated wash. It's not a single color that I am using. I am using lot many shades here by making small changes in my palette and painting them. But one common thing you would notice here, that everywhere I am trying to maintain certain connection between the shapes. That is very important. Otherwise, the painting will not look complete. It would look very isolated. The shapes would look very isolated. So you have to maintain certain connection in between so that it looks united. One more important thing here to notice is how I have created those light effects. Those areas are basically preserved from my first layer. So I have painted the dark greens around those bright yellows by maintaining certain shapes. Those are typically representing my lights. Now you are seeing that after putting my first layer, how I am creating the dark dots, and basically I am trying to establish certain depth into that big chunk of greens that I have painted. These tree branches are those helping elements which would convince the viewer's eye even more about the story that I am trying to tell here. Once I'm satisfied with the basic shapes that I want to create, the kind of light and shadow that I wanted to create, I can always come back and paint some sort of details. So typically I would do some sort of dry brush work to just give slightly more details to add little depth into these areas. Here also I am trying to paint some negative shades to create certain effect or the light and shadow effect in the right hand side area. It's little difficult, I would say it needs certain practice to visualize that specific shape that you are looking for while you're painting the dark colors around that shape. So that's called negative painting. It can be little tricky, but it gives a very satisfactory result because the light what you have painted in the first layer, preserving that is very important to maintain the transparency, to maintain the originality of the light that we want to establish in a watercolor painting. And I am trying to do the same thing here. I have sketched those areas basically with my brush so that I know what I have to keep preserved while I am painting the dark colors around those shapes. Painting the shadows in watercolor is one of the most satisfactory part for me. What I try to do here is to create certain dark colors of those lights that I have already painted in my first layer to show the shadow effects. But I always try to exaggerate little bit in terms of the color so that I maintain that effect of the painting, right? So I believe since I'm painting with watercolor and I kind of like that effect of impression, not very realistically I am trying to establish the shadows here, rather I would establish that impression of that shadow. So you are seeing how I am trying to maintain or balance the cool and warm shadows, and I am basically letting the color mix together and create one effect for me. And you would minutely notice that I am changing my colors with respect to the base color. So the right hand side was green, while I'm painting shadow for that I'm using dark green, while for the pathway I have created different colors. So shadows are typically those darker versions of the light colors that we paint, right? So it's very simple. Create different colors and try to connect them together to give certain effect in watercolor. Here I'm using small details like the branches and lot of dark shapes to create a bit of more details and depth into the painting. And finally by adding the small details would give my painting a completeness. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you got some value out of it. You learned something new in this video. Let me know your feedback in the comment box. If you're new here, do not forget to subscribe this channel. I'll see you in the next week with a new video. Till then, bye bye.